feeling. See it as a teacher and as a friend. If you're sad right now, say, I'm going to walk with this sadness, you know? There's a poem that my mom used to read to us, and it said, I walked a mile with pleasure, and she chattered all the way, but left me none the wiser for all she had to say. I walked a mile with sorrow, and narrow words said she, but oh, the things I learned from her when sorrow walked with me. And I just feel like that makes me emotional, because I'm really surprised I remember that, because that's a poem from my childhood. But it's just so true that if we can just kind of sit with these feelings for a while, there will be a dawn. You don't have to be afraid that you're going to become a lonely person forever. That loneliness is a friend. It's going to teach you. It's going to bring you into a place where you understand why it's important for you to you'll receive inspiration on how to move forward in your life. But if you run from it, it's always going to chase you, because it has something to teach you. It's always going to be hot on your tail. And then you will be truly a lonely person, because you're being pursued by loneliness. And so you're always afraid of loneliness. And so that is what you're focusing on, and that is what your life will manifest. So I just think, for me, like, that is the advice. Be where you are. Be present. Let this emotion be your friend. It's not going to stay there forever. It's going to teach you what it needs to teach you. Be open to its teaching. Be open to its inspiration. Call it a friend. And then when it leaves you, you will have learned what it finally needed to teach you, and you will be that much more of a wise person. Don't run. Don't run. Be where you are. And even in that sadness, you have a right to, if it becomes overwhelming, if it becomes too much, you have a right to go into that place, to discover that place if you haven't, and be in that place where those waves of love are truly, truly nourishing, sanctifying, blessing you. You don't have to do it. It's there. So if it does become overwhelming, because some people's sadness and fears are overwhelming, you have that resource of retreating into yourself, into a place that's completely safe with no judgment. Where is your safe place? Find it, learn it, know what it is. And if you can't find those things on your own, then you've got to seek the help of a professional who can help you find that safe place, who can help you sort of work your way through your feelings in a way that doesn't make you despair. Because people have gone through some serious, deep crap. And you can't do that. Some of that you just cannot do on your own. You know, if some people were to really allow themselves to feel the full breadth of their sadness and depression, I think it would possibly overtake them, because there are things that just happen to people that are just unearthly, that just should never happen, you know. And so seek help if that's you, you know. But if you're someone who your sadness is just always kind of there, but you don't really know how to get rid of it, you got to stop running. You got to let that kind of flow through you. You've got to let it teach you, and then it will go its merry way. Take my word for it. I have put this into practice, and nothing lasts forever. No feeling, however undesirable, will not one day just be gone. And you'll have this new dawn, and you'll have this rebirth. It'll literally be a rebirth. So so I'm very passionate about people staying here and not taking their lives. That's one of the biggest things that's one of the biggest reasons that I've spoken out, is because I want people to give life a chance. I know for a long time I had one foot in the grave. I wanted to die because my life wasn't working for me. This was not working for me. I was devouring myself in a very real way, and I was choosing to remain in a philosophy that you know led me to devour myself. And I wanted to die. Of course I wanted to die. I was killing myself. I was slowly destroying myself. And I'm really happy that I didn't take my own life, and I'm really happy that I didn't try even harder to attract death, because death is an invitation. Everything is an invitation in life. And you know, I think choosing to accept life's invitation as opposed to death's invitation is a very, very powerful step. It starts things in motion in the universe that we can't even understand. And I feel like that's, you know, that would be my answer to that. I mean, I think life has, you know, all many cycles, and I think for me there will be many new dawns as things come from the universe to teach me. But you know, the biggest thing that I would say is that I feel like I have a family, like a huge family of Mormon gay brothers and sisters, of friends. You know, it's just surpassed all my expectations of adulthood. It really has. I feel like there's just I feel because of the experiences that I've had with love and feeling God's love, I just feel so connected to my own life, and I feel so connected to the world around me and the universe around me. And that is just something that I could never have predicted.
It's almost like before, when you were younger, it was an idea that was put in your head that you couldn't attain. And now it's something that the reality of it is much more powerful than you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's this, ideology of like, one day we'll reach there. One day I'll be happy. One day I'll start living. One day once I've achieved certain things in my life, and that's just such an easy idea to buy into. I'm not there yet. I still have too many I'm still too unworthy to claim happiness now. It's just so crazy because now I've been able to, I'm actually being, like, my life is happening. I'm not waiting anymore. And I was before. I was kind of like, well, once I get married, once I've sort of overcome this, or, through all of my stages of basing my life on this platform, I was always waiting. And I think, leaving Mormonism is not the answer entirely. You think it's going to be, just like when you come out, you think you come out and you're like, well, now everything in my life is going to be fixed, but you still have a life to lead. Your soul still has a really important journey to take. And so leaving the church is also part of, it might be part of it, but that's not going to solve all your problems. And that's what I think the friend who wrote me, who was like, why can't I be happy? I did everything I'm supposed to do. I left the church. And I'm like, no, there's so much more. And, that's exactly what I told him. I said, you've got to slow down, let whatever loneliness, whatever sadness, you've got to let it catch you, teach you, and go. So, I mean, to answer your question, I really am just astounded. I'm astounded that there's a life to live. There's actually a happiness to be seized today, in this moment. I don't have to be like, well, I'll be happy later today when I meet this friend. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I had a friend that I knew from my mission, that I was meeting with, I was talking with. We have lunch like every 3 months and just talk. We don't see each other that often. But he was like, you're just reaching this place where you're building this garden that is your present tense. Like, you're in the moment. He's like, you're building this garden that you're always taking with you. And he's like, and that he's like, as that garden expands, that's going to be a more and more beautiful place for you to reside in. And that was such a good analogy for me, because I truly feel like, the minute I started planting little plants of being in the moment, of being plants of happiness for now, not building my mansion in heaven, not being like, I hate my life, I hate this, but you know what, I'm building a mansion in heaven, so that's what's going to be, that's when I'm going to be happy, in my Father's house are many mansions and I'm going to get them, I do feel like there's something to be said for difficult moments in life when, there are certain things that we just don't want to do that are really good for us, and we sometimes have to just tough our way through them, and, we know that we should do, you know what I mean? I don't know. I can't think of any examples, but like working, sometimes we just hate work, but, working is not only important to keep us financially stable, but it's also important for our soul. And working is hard sometimes. So not everything is going to be like pure happiness and bliss. That's not what I believe. But I do believe that, like, you can always have this beautiful garden to enjoy whatever your circumstances are, and you have to plant that garden of happiness. And so for me, like, being in New York, having a boyfriend, being in a relationship that's just really good and it's appropriate to who I am, and being able to experience my sexuality in a way that's really guilt-free also, and really, I won't even say guilt-free because I shouldn't even be talking about guilt, and experiencing my sexuality in a way that's completely blissful and everything that I think sexuality was intended to be, it has passed my expectations of what a life can be. I feel like I'm me and I'm in the now, and I'm available to everything, you know what I mean? I really do feel connected.